What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Gameball Podcast with your host, Matson Montilla. Today, join the show, we have Clemson defensive end, Florida legend, Lakeland legend, Cade Denhoff join the show. How you doing, Cade?
Good, man. Appreciate you having me, man. Excited.
Yeah, me too. You're one of my first football guests, in the studio. I've interviewed Jordan McFadden and some other guys on Zoom, but first in person one, so I'm excited. Yeah,
that's cool, man.
Yeah. Well, to start things off, I like to just bring it back to the start of it all. I mean, what led to you wanting to play football and having that be the place that gets you to college now?
That's a good question. I played baseball forever. When I started playing baseball when I was real young, because that's what my dad wanted me to play. He wanted me to go play baseball at Vanderbilt. That was kind of his thing. Then I started to get a little bit bigger, a little taller, and started playing tackle football in 8th grade. So I played Little League, and then I was homeschooled from all the way up until 8th grade, and then reclassified, did 8th grade again, went to a K through 12 school. Kept playing football there, and kind of faded away from baseball and just said didn't really like it anymore. And I kept playing basketball, played basketball through high school and football. And I just kind of kept getting better and better and bigger, and I started to enjoy it more. And a couple of people told me when I was a freshman, they thought I had a good opportunity to go to the next level with it. So I thought might as well try it. And that's where we are.
Now you're here playing football for Clemson. That's pretty good. You know, it's funny that you bring up that you started playing tackle in 8th grade. Did you start playing football later than most people?
I would say tackle definitely later than most people. I played flag my whole life, flag football, but I didn't play tackle until 8th grade. So I had a little bit of a later start, but not crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but in 8th grade, you were born to be a star. You started varsity, right? Isn't that the the story?
So I went to the Lakeland Christian. It was a K through 12 school, and we don't have a JV, so it's middle school and high school, middle school and varsity. So I was about 5'10" or 5'11", probably 170. 175, and they threw me on varsity. Played the whole season with it. Actually, I didn't hate it, but I was it was difficult. And I had, once I got to school and got to know a lot of the guys there. All my buddies played middle school, so I was dang, I feel like I'm missing out. But it was a great learning opportunity. Got me a lot tougher for sure, and kind of settled me into the team. Do you think that was a harder part? Not necessarily playing against older guys, but playing with people you don't know? Not necessarily. I mean, anybody knows you play football. It only takes a couple days to get to know guys.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're together all the time. But a little bit, guys I didn't know. So I guess that could be a point because I was in 8th grade and so it's separate from the high school obviously. So you don't see a lot of those guys every day. You see them throughout the halls sometimes, but you don't have class with them. So that was a little bit of a learning curve, but it didn't take long to get to know them.
So you started your 8th grade year, right?
I didn't start. I might have started the last 2 games of the season. I slowly progressed. Halfway through the season, I got a little bit more playing time, and then my defensive line coach threw me in there the last 2 games. So from freshman year to senior year, I started, but I don't think I did until later in my 8th grade season. Did you
see the field though during your 8th grade year? Or was it like you said later in the year?
I got my defensive line coach O'Neill. I'm still pretty close with him. And he would kind of throw me in there periodically, when he felt like he just wanted to. So halfway through the season, he threw me in there a game. We played 3 hours from our high school. Put me in there. I got my first sack, and then slowly the next 5 to 6 games, I would get in there a little bit more, and then he'd leave me in for a whole drive, or let me go back-to-back drives or whatever. And then it got to be I think it was the second to last game we were playing. It was 2 district games. We were playing Berkeley Prep, which was one of our rivals, and he told me I was starting. And then the next game I think was what we called our Bright House game or Spectrum game of the week. Played another district rival, and then he had me start in that one. Just kind of slowly more and more playing time throughout the year.
What was it like going against seniors, in practice, but also in the games? You're going against people. You're in middle school. I feel that's way different than being a freshman against seniors in college.
Yeah. It was difficult because I didn't weigh anything. I was like a stick out there, but I just knew how to work hard, and I was just fast. So I just tried to run as fast as possible around people. And I couldn't hold blocks or push anybody out the way. honestly, a lot of times, like, I would like slant in a gap and like the tackle would like literally push me into a tackle. So like that's pretty much most of what I did. But I just tried to work harder than everybody. Yeah. But it was definitely it was a learning curve for sure.
Yeah, something I've noticed about just like from your old coaches, from your old teammates, they always say that you have like a heavy motor. Like you just push yourself like unlike anyone else. Like how'd you develop that? I mean, you mentioned in 8th grade you had it. So how'd you develop that?
I don't know, man. I always say I got most of it from my dad. Okay. He works really, really hard, and he's kind of always instilled that in me. Him and I've always worked harder than everybody else, but like I think there's different levels to it. Like once I got to start playing football for my high school defensive line coach like stayed on me like 24/7, and he was like always like telling me work hard, work hard, work hard, and he was always getting on to me about every little thing. So I think I had it from an early age from my dad, and then I got it from my high school coach, and it's just kind of, I think it's just kind of always been in me.
Yeah.
Just to work harder than everybody else, because I hate losing. So that's probably the biggest thing. If I hate losing, whether it's video games, ping pong, football, whatever. I just cards, board games. I just don't like to lose. So that's probably what it is. Just not wanting to lose to anybody.
Yeah, you're a competitor, right? Yeah. I mean that makes sense. Also playing, like, you played 4 sports, right, throughout, because you played lacrosse at some point, right?
Yeah, I played lacrosse my junior year. Yeah, my junior year.
Yeah, so I guess, like, you were just born to be a competitor. I mean, was that something I've always noticed? Like, once, because you got interest from, colleges, like, very early. Like, your freshman year, I was reading, you got interest. And most of the time when players, at least from, like, athletes I've spoken to, it's like you play your main sport, and then you might play, like, an additional sport. But you played football, baseball, basketball, and lacrosse all at some point. Did you why'd you do that? Like, did you ever think about just quitting a couple sports and playing football, like focusing on it? Like that's
not really
crazy.
Not really. It's a good question. But our high school coaches, or my high school coach for football, like actually told guys on the football team, like they told us to go play other sports. And like you hear that from college coaches too. They always say, like, make sure you're playing other sports because it helps you. Like you play basketball, like I was never really very good at basketball. I could defend, but like I wasn't good at handling the ball. But just moving your feet on the court, dribbling, stuff like that helps you on the football field. If you're a receiver, it helps you as a defensive lineman using your hands, hand-eye coordination, stuff like that. Baseball is really good for hand-eye coordination, and as a defensive end, you need to learn how to use your hands and attacking the offensive line. So I think, playing other sports, and it just keeps you in shape. Yeah. So, and like, why not? Like, you don't need like in high school, you don't need a whole off season to prepare for the next year. Like I would still football train like while I was playing basketball and baseball, getting ready for spring ball and stuff. So I just think you should. There's no reason not to in high school. Yeah. And
that makes sense, especially with basketball. I feel like that helps you be more agile, especially being a D end, and you also play a little bit of tight end. Like I'm sure that has helped a lot, right?
Yeah. It helps your hips. It helps your footwork. Being able to guard people, being able to watch their hips. So like if you're ever going to make a tackle, like you read the inside hip to see where he's going. Same thing in basketball, see where they're dribbling. It all ties together.
So when you're playing those sports, focusing on football, I know you said you don't have to focus on like the whole off season. We still had to like put some extra work in, and then school, and then recruitment's going on. Yeah. Like what is your schedule like during that time frame?
So when it started to pick up heavy, my sophomore year, sophomore spring is when I started to get my offers for football. So I would be playing basketball. I would play basketball on a Friday night, whether or not we had a basketball game Friday night. Normally we did, but I would wake up. I would go train Saturday morning for football. Then I'd have the rest of the weekend off. But it was usually, we would lift every day. We had like a football lifting class, obviously like weight room class. Yeah. So we do that every day. So I'd get my lifting out of the way. I'd have my diet. And then I'd train one day on Saturday just to keep me in shape with football. And then I'd be playing basketball. Recruitment was never really super heavy. I mean, there's coaches would come to schools and stuff, and you'd get called to the office, or you might talk to them on the phone. But I never really felt like burdened by it or anything.
Like it wasn't stressful.
No, it was never really stressful for me, like with the rest of my schedule. I enjoyed it for sure, but it never really stressed me out.
Yeah, that's interesting because from the outside looking in, I feel like having to deal with, but like you're getting calls from all these random coaches and talking to you. I feel that'd be overwhelming though, right? Like, or was it just like you just appreciated it having
I definitely had an appreciation for it. I think everybody's recruitment is different. Mine was, I wouldn't say mine was slower, but like I started out with like some lower D1 offers,
Yeah,
some FBS offers, and then I kind of built up from there. I would say probably like between May of my sophomore year and then entering my junior year, that August and September, I got most of my biggest offers. But like some guys you see, like they might have like they go to the state championship and have a huge game, and then they just are flooded with like all these coaches find out about them and they're flooded with calls. That wasn't really me. It was just more of a slow developing recruitment. Yeah. So it was never really stressful. But I enjoyed it all.
Yeah. So you played when your school was in 3A, right? And what's the highest level for like in football for like
Florida? I think we go to 8A.
8A. So obviously from like an athletic standpoint, you said you're 5'11" in 8th grade. Now you're 6'5". I think you're like 230 when you were getting recruited. Now you're about 255. Did like playing in a smaller division ever worry you about like, am I going to get an interest? Because I'm assuming like there's talented players, but higher division, it's more talent, right? So was that ever a concern?
Not really. People used to ask me that. They would want me to transfer to a different school or wanted me to transfer to their school. Told me I wouldn't get offers, but I always said like they're gonna come find you if you're good. Yeah. And like once I got my first offer, like I knew like okay, if they can find me here, then I'm fine. And we played a lot of really good competition. Like 3A is in Florida has some of the best football in the state. Like I would probably say 3A, 5A, and then like 7 and 8A are some of the most competitive. Like 3A, we have some super, super competitive teams that we played against. So I think we always had good competition. Yeah. So I was never really worried.
Yeah. No, because I know for basketball, like I talked to a few guys from Clemson just like the other day, and they were in 4A, and then they went to like a 7A school to get more competition. But I guess you're right though. Like you're good, they'll find you.
Exactly.
When it comes to the high school competition, though, like, do you think Berkeley was one of the better teams you played against?
Yeah. Berkeley was one of our biggest games every year. It was Berkeley, like teams we played during the season. Berkeley was one of our biggest. Bishop Verot and Fort Myers was really big, or not big, but it was one of our more competitive games. And then Tampa Catholic, we stopped playing them. I think it was like my sophomore. Last time we played them was my sophomore year. Okay. So Tampa Catholic was always very competitive. They had some really, really good athletes. Chaminade, Madonna, they go to state like almost every year. Really? We never actually played them, but we went to the state semis my junior and senior year and would have played them if we went to the finals. So yeah, Berkeley, TC, Chaminade, Bishop. We played Florida State High School once.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That was like
Willie Taggart's son was quarterback.
Oh, really?
We only played them once, but they had a really good team my junior year. So yeah, there were some really good teams. Did you
play that when you played them? Was that during the semifinals?
Florida State.
Yeah.
Yeah, state semis.
Yeah,
so Final Four.
Yeah, so that was your junior year, right? What was that year like? Because I was reading it was the first time Lakeland been to the semis since like 2014. Like you're obviously playing really well. Like what was that whole entire season like for you?
Yeah, I actually just talked about that with a buddy the other day. Because we started out, I think we started out like 1-3. Or something like that, or maybe 0-2. It was something weird, like bad start to our season, like games we should have won. And we had a turnaround like week 3 or 4. I don't know what happened. I guess everybody just got together and was like, we need to do something about it. And from then on, I think we went 9-0 from then on, all the way to the state semis. I think we had a lot of injuries that year that I remember. A lot of injuries, like a lot of guys in different positions and new positions. And I think we were kind of just like, let's just ride it out and see where it goes. And we were really had a really, really good chemistry that year and cohesion with the guys on the team. So yeah, that was one of my favorite years. Not just because we went deep into the playoffs, but just the cohesion that we had.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's like you can have all the talent, but chemistry trumps talent, like in any sport, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. When it now like looking over against recruitment, more of that whole side of things. When you were going through the recruitment process, you were hearing from like big name schools, obviously Clemson, then Georgia, Ohio State, the Florida schools. What like you had about 25 offers, 30 offers?
Yeah, about 30.
So when you narrowed it down to your like final like 7 or so, like what kind of went into that process of saying this is a school I want to consider rather than this team?
Yeah, so most of my top 7 was mostly based on schools that communicated with me the most. Okay. Like there were some other schools that I liked, or even that I had visited, or didn't even visit, but I still liked, or that was just a big name school. Yeah. But I always felt like if you didn't like talk to me on like somewhat of a regular basis, like then like we don't really have a relationship.
Yeah.
So my top 7 schools was Nebraska, Virginia, Ohio State, LSU, Penn State, Alabama, and Clemson. And those schools kept up with me pretty regularly throughout my recruitment. So that was kind of how I narrowed down the list. Like a lot of people ask me, like I had Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State, but then like Nebraska and like Virginia.
Yeah.
And some people ask me like why the difference in those schools, or why like Nebraska, or why Virginia. But really, I just liked the way that they recruited. Like they came after me hard, and I just liked the way that they communicated with me and how they treated me throughout the recruitment process. So that was my biggest thing about like just how my relationship was with the coaches and the school.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily like the name of the school, but just who showed that constant interest.
Yeah.
So when Clemson offered you, did they offer, because they're typical for they offer a little bit later than most schools, right? So they were communicating with you before they offered you? Or was it like once you got that offer, it kind of started picking up?
They didn't communicate with me. I had came up here to visit spring of my sophomore year.
Okay.
So I came up here to visit, talked to them, had a great conversation with all of them. Then I went to camp in June, and so I'm up here again, and they told me, Coach Venables told me there was only one offer or they had told me when I was on my visit, they said there's one offer for defensive ends. So I'm like, all right, well, I didn't quite know what it meant. Like I knew, but I was like, all right, well, you know, I've never heard that before, so like we'll see if it's true. So I just kept working, and I would text them, and they wouldn't respond, but I'd text them, like Coach Venables, my position coach, Coach Ski, and I would just send them updates. And I came to camp, and they told me they were like, all right, like you're the guy that we're planning to offer, so like you're good, like we're gonna get you at some point, but like they just couldn't do it yet because of roster space. And then they offered me in July, and they just told my high school coach, they told him to let me know to call him. So like everything was by the book, and I called them, and they offered me. And then like once September hit, like I talked to him regularly. But yeah.
What was it like getting that offer? Because I know Clemson was a school that like you visited a lot. You obviously had a lot of interest in. So when you got that call that you got an offer, were you like you excited?
I was super, super excited. It was more of like a relief. I think my parents were probably more excited than I was, because it was the one that I wanted. Yeah. Because I had been up here to visit numerous times and just like loved it from like the first second I got here. I loved Coach Venables and the coaching staff. So yeah, I was super, super excited. Yeah. And more of a relief just knowing that like I trusted the process, you know, and like they had told me like there's only one spot, you know, but they gave it to me. So yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
So bringing up Coach Venables, I was reading that I guess your mom went to high school with him, right?
Yeah, they grew up together.
Did that make you feel more comfortable about Clemson just because you knew that at the time the defensive coordinator had somewhat of a relationship with your family?
Yeah, a little bit. So when I came here to visit my going into my sophomore year that summer, I came up that was the first time I'd come here for the camp. And we saw Coach Venables like at the check-in and all that, and talked to him for a long time, like because of my mom and him, because they went to the same high school. I think they're a couple of years difference in age, but they went to the same high school. And I think he used to hang out with my mom's brother a little bit, so my uncle. So yeah, there was just a connection there, and like from the minute that I met him, like he was always like real personable, and like and you know kind of took me under his wing in the recruitment process and stuff like that. So yeah, he played a big part in me coming here, in my relationship with the staff and stuff like that.
I'm sure that also helped like embody, like, you know, you hear it no matter what, Clemson's that family, right? Yeah. So I'm sure that really like in a sense showed that Clemson family, right?
Yeah, it definitely resonated. It did for sure. And then all the other coaches too treat you the same way. So that the culture, that was the biggest thing and why I came here.
Yeah. So when you did make that decision to go to Clemson, would you say that is because of that culture, because of just how they treated you? Is that kind of what separated them?
The culture for sure. I mean, I visited numerous other schools, but this by far had the best culture. You know, and then like it was like the culture, and then like they like in addition to that, it's like we win football games. We got a great facility, a great campus, like a great area. So it's like everything just added on top of each other. It was like perfect.
So being in it, I mean, I have to ask, like, what like. I mean, as a student at Clemson, I understand like the family culture of like, at least for me, I feel like when I'm talking to students or professors, it's like they want me to be the best person like of myself, not like some other reason.
Right.
But from like I guess, in that football locker room with the players and with the coaches, and even with the professors, like, what is that culture like to you?
No, it's basically just exactly what you said. I mean, they push you every day to be the best version of yourself. Coach Sweeney talks about that like constantly.
Yeah.
He's got like a bunch of sayings like that everybody like has memorized now. But Sweeneyisms, you know about them. But yeah, they push you to be the best you can be, like through like, every aspect of the program, like strength and conditioning, the coaching staff, the nutrition staff, the training room staff, like everybody does. So like holistically, it's that same thing, just pushing you to be the best you can be every day, you know, getting 1% better every day.
Yeah.
Like investing in yourself is what we talk about a lot. So yeah, I think everybody kind of embodies that.
Yeah. So a cool story I was kind of reading about was when you decided to like commit to Clemson, you waited to do it in person, right?
Yep.
Like with Coach Sweeney there and everyone there. So what was that whole like day lead up, and why'd you decide to do that?
Yeah. So yeah, that was a pretty cool story. So they offered me in July, and they didn't have a roster spot yet, but they wanted to just like let me know like I was the one that they were going to offer.
Yeah.
So they offered me. They told me I couldn't commit yet, which I was fine with. I was going to wait as long as possible. I think I could have committed in like November or maybe December of that year, 2019. But they were having a junior day, or like our elite junior day in like late January. It was January 26th or the 25th, 26th. And I think I had kind of just decided I want to like wait to commit like in person, like with the staff, and like just kind of have it a big deal, have my family there. Yeah. So I just thought that would have been more cool. So yeah, leading up to that day, I was excited. I was ready to go. It was definitely felt more comfortable going up there and like knowing that I was like about to be committed and like part of the family. And they kind of like treated me like I was part of the family already, because they, you know, had told me I had the offer and all that, and they knew I was going to commit basically. So I went through the day, went through the visit with my family and stuff, and then went to Coach Sweeney's office like late in the afternoon, 3 or 4. Talked to him for about 30 minutes, and then he was like, you know, gave me the whole spiel about Clemson again, and he was like, so like, just want to make sure you're like 100% like ready to commit. He's like, are you ready? And I was like ready like before we even walked in the door. So yeah, I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm 100%, I'm locked in. And then like he like jumped up, like jumped in there and started yelling, and like Coach Venables was in there, and Coach Ski, my position coach, and like my whole family. So yeah, it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I always hear like about those stories when the coaches find out, they just get like so hyped up. Like,
yeah.
Do you think the coaching staff was more excited about you committing than you were about officially being committed?
Probably because like I knew I was gonna do it. But they were super hyped up. Coach V and Coach Sweeney for sure. Were super excited. So
yeah. So when you signed, you early enrolled and you came to Clemson early. What was that whole process like when you finally just said, you know what, like I'm going to campus, I want to enroll early? Like, how does that even work?
That's a great question. I don't actually know. I think I was talking to Coach Venables, or he texted me one day and like basically just was like, you're enrolling early. And I was like, okay, sure. Like I didn't really like, I knew it was a thing, and I had like thought about it. But yeah, he kind of just like, yeah, you're probably going to enroll early. Because I think I was talking to him about All-American games or something, or like the Polynesian Bowl. I was saying something about the Polynesian Bowl. And he was like, you won't get to play in any of those or something. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you're enrolling early. And I was like, okay. And so they just, yeah. So then like everybody, the staff basically was planning for that. But I think I had mentioned to him or something, but I think he knew my academic schedule. Like I was already like, was able to graduate early. I didn't have any more classes. So yeah, that's a cool process coming up early. Just being here for the spring is really nice, just to get everything under your belt, you know, get a spring done, you know, experience campus and classes before the summer.
So you had to take classes during that spring?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, the 21 early enrollee class, we got here January 3rd, went through orientation for 2 days, and then had classes on the 5th. And
academic weapon,
yeah, like we're here taking classes, like wandering around campus trying to find these classrooms. Like the rest of the team, we had just finished up with the playoff in Ohio State, so they're like, you know,
doing their thing,
taking a break, and like nobody's in the facility, and we're kind of just like figuring everything out. But it was kind of cool. Like it was, we'd go into the facility, it'd be quiet because everybody's kind of off. You know, coaches are on the road. You know, and we're just kind of taking everything in, and we kind of like got to get our feet wet like by ourselves for a week or two. You and then we hit the ground running. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, especially like being theoretically you're a high schooler at that point. Everything's just like so new to you, and it's just you and the rest of your recruiting class that enrolled early just there. Do you think that helped you like build a close? I mean, I'm sure you're close to everyone on the team, closer to the recruiting class, but that helped you build like a better relationship with like a closer one than you would have.
Yeah, I think you definitely grow and get closest to the guys that you came in with, and you kind of like once you go throughout your college career in football, you kind of get your little group of guys that you hang out with the most. But yeah, we had a tight knit group when I first enrolled. All of us, me and Brittany Stool and Shipley and Marcus Tate and a bunch of those guys, Bo and Phil. So yeah, I think you are closest with the guys that you come in with. And I think that's kind of how it is with every class because you do so much together. Like they have you do orientation together, and then there's like just throughout the year there's so many like freshmen and mid-year like meetings and stuff. So you're just always together. You sit in the same row in the team meeting room. So
I feel like that's how it is with like just anything like in general. Like I don't know if I had if live in freshman year in like a dorm, I'll just be friends with everyone that's like a freshman. I'm not gonna go and talk to some like junior just because exactly. I don't know why I do that, but that makes sense. So when you early enrolled, were you like going through practices, or was it just like being there early?
No, yeah. So you early enroll, and you're locked in and ready to go with everything. So the first day of workouts, you're there. You go through mat drills. You go through spring practice. Like you do the whole 9 yards. Like you're officially like in college, and you're like on the team and you're going. So it's a lot of work and like a lot to get used to. There's some long days, but it's definitely a good experience.
Mat drills. I've heard some stories about mat drills. Like those, I can imagine like as for you like that first year. I can't believe you did that. Like that must have been.
Yeah, they're kind of rough. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like you got to do them at some point.
Well,
So like it's better to just like get them out of the way. But yeah, they're hard every year. They get easier because you know what you're expecting, but like it's still like in terms of just like the drill itself is like nothing compares.
Did you ever? I've always heard stories about people like throwing up. Like, did that ever happen to you during a mat drill?
Yeah. So I just went through my third one in February, and I've thrown up all 3 years. It's all been on. The first 2 years it was Friday, so it's like a Monday or it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, typically. So the first 2 years it was on both Fridays, and then this couple months ago it was on Thursday. So I beat it by a day.
Well, if you don't throw it up, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to.
Everybody gets close. Like if anybody says some people are like, if you really kill it, then you like, if you're super in shape. But like if you're killing yourself, then like you should like feel like throwing up every time.
Yeah.
Which is typically how I feel, but only one time it came out.
Was it cool? I saw a video of like Coach Eason. Was it cool like seeing like the coaches get into it?
Yeah, Coach Eason is crazy. He just like got his cleats on. He just like came out there with us, and he had his cleats on, and he was like, "I'm gonna do the drill," and we're all like, "Nah, like you're lying." And then like first drill we had, like got the whole defensive line ready, and then he jumps in there, and he's going. So yeah, he's a trip. I didn't think he'd make it through it, but he did the whole thing.
Did he throw up during it?
No.
Man, what an animal. That's crazy.
I wouldn't say he was struggling, but like he was struggling. But no, he never threw up.
Hey, that makes you want to play for him then, right?
Yeah. Our staff is insane.
Yeah, I know you have it's cool because with Clemson, I know you're a defensive end, so like you aren't fully coached by Coach Eason because you have Coach Hall, but it's like I've never seen a college have 2 defensive line coaches before. Is that unique to Clemson, or is
I'm pretty sure. I don't recall any like coaches or staffs when I was getting recruited have more than one defensive line coach. But yeah, ever since I've been here, it's been Coach Ski and it used to be Coach Bates, and then we brought in Coach Eason. But ever since I've been here, it's been 2 defensive line coaches. Yeah. So yeah, it is unique to us. I don't really know what the reasoning was, like when we started doing that or why. But it is cool. Yeah, it's really cool to have 2.
Do you like it? Like, do you think it's helped you more because they can just focus on that like DN group rather than having to focus on everyone on the D line?
Yeah, because Coach Eason and Coach Hall both they like collaborate on their coaching. Like obviously they're coaching 2 separate positions. Like the defensive tackles are different they have different jobs than what we do. But a lot of it ties in. I mean, we're all defensive linemen, so we all have to pass rush. We all have to play the run. Yeah. So they collaborate on a lot of the stuff that we do. And Coach Eason is great, just bringing that NFL mindset in from when he coached. So yeah, it's a lot of times we meet together as a whole group. and go over stuff. So yeah, it's really good to have them both.
Yeah. So rewinding it to freshman year in season when that was all happening, just like the whole like year. I know you redshirted that season, so. But just going through and dressing for the home games, some of the away games, like was that just like did it ever feel like surreal to you during it?
Yeah, running out. I dressed for all the home games, and I went to the Georgia opening weekend against Georgia and Charlotte, and I went to the South Carolina game.
That's 2 games.
Georgia was surreal. Just like running out there for pregame, like against Georgia specifically. Because like a lot of my mom's side of the family is from Athens actually. So like we didn't like used to be Georgia fans, but like we've watched them forever. So yeah, I run out there and just like you see the lights and like it's an NFL stadium and like everybody, I mean it's a primetime game. So it's like 7:00, the sun's down, and like you're running out there, you see like Georgia guys and it's just like, whoa. So yeah, that was pretty surreal, but like you're amped up, like you're ready.
Oh, yeah.
Like I knew I wasn't going to play, but I was like ready to like, let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get that sack or something.
Yeah.
It's great.
But yeah, that and running down the hill, the first home game was really cool. The first night game was awesome in the Valley. I can't remember what game that was my freshman year, but that was really cool. South Carolina was really exciting.
Yeah.
Going there, their fans are crazy. I didn't know like to the extent of their fans, like how bad they were, but when we traveled there, like on the bus, they're like throwing stuff at the bus and like flicking us off, and like you get off the bus and like it's our fans like for our little mini Tiger Walk, and then like a bunch of their fans are right there and they're yelling, and like I knew I wasn't playing in that game either, but I was like still again like ready to like let's go. So yeah, I would say those two, and then the night game we had against NC State this past season was legit. Yeah,
that was a crazy game. What's the did you ever hear anything from like a South Carolina fan? Like, did they ever say anything to you, or just kind of like?
Never to me directly. I heard some stuff during the game and during warm-ups. I can't even recall what it was, but I do remember hearing like it's kind of like all mixed in. Like everybody's yelling and screaming and flicking you off, and like the student section's right there by warm-ups. But nothing directly to me.
Hostile environment right there. It makes it a rivalry though, right?
Exactly.
So when you run down the hill and like you bust around the stadium and you do the whole 9 yards with that, like, does it get you amped up every time you do it?
Yeah. Some people are different. Like some people say they like Tiger Walk better than the hill, running down the hill. Some people like the hill the best. I like the bus around the stadium the best because like you get, especially for a night game. The first night game, when we played NC State, that first night game last year, we had the new lights and we had the new scoreboard. So like that was like, all right, like this is college football. So like we're busting around and we got to like the first right turn. We're on the left side of the stadium and we could hear the "We Will Rock You," and I was like, this is legit. And so then we get around to the rock. And like you see everybody's phone, like you look out the window, we can't really see a whole lot, just like the tops of the stadium, but we see all the lights and the music, and then the lights flick on and everybody's yelling. So yeah, that gives me, I like the bus ride the most. And then like right before the game starts, before kickoff. Yeah,
dude, you gave me goosebumps just describing it. I mean, I remember like I was at that game and the whole like lead up to it was just. Yeah, there's nothing like it. That was, I mean, for me, like I went to the Georgia game. Like I try and go to a lot of the Clemson games, but that was just different. It just felt like college game day was there. Like it was.
There was a different atmosphere that night.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wish there was more night games because like that was the only home night game I believe, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that whole like light show, like you said, was like fourth quarter, entering the fourth quarter. It was just cool. It reminded me, honestly though, like it reminded me of. Have you been to like a Georgia game? Like how they do the light thing before? It reminded me of that, but just like way better because
it was just like it was just like Georgia, really.
Yeah, but no, I mean that must have been crazy. So your freshman year, I know you redshirted, but you saw the field at one point, right, against UConn?
Yeah, I got one play against UConn.
Like, what's that play like? I mean, is it like? Was it? I mean, it's your first play in college football.
Yeah, so like we had some. I don't want to say we struggled on defense my freshman year, but we had some ups and some downs. So I thought I was going to get some playing time against South Carolina State, but like it didn't happen. So I just kept going throughout the season, and I'm on scout team, so like I'm not in any of the defensive game plans that week, so I don't know what they're running. And then we get to UConn, So I'm like, all right, like I might get a couple plays, like, preparing myself. And they give me the game plan like the night before the game, like after we go to the movie theater. Just like 30 minutes before I go to bed, and they just give it to me. And they're like, hey, look this over. And I was like, all right. So I remembered like one play. And we get to the game. It's like third, fourth quarter. Like we're up by 100. And I'm like ready to go in, but like I'm excited. Like all day I'm like, all right, like I'm good. It's UConn. Come on. Like, we're fine. And like right before they put me in, like I'm ready for them to call my name. And I was like, oh crap, I'm nervous. And then they're like, get out there. So I run out there. The one play that he called is the one that I remembered. And then when I got on the field, I forgot what to do. Like right before the ball was snapped, I remembered like where I was supposed to go. Yeah. That was really cool. Just like kind of like feeling it a little bit and like feeling what it's like to run out there. But yeah, that was my lone play for my freshman year.
There you go, big time play.
Yeah.
Now that UConn game was a little scary at the start,
Yeah.
It wasn't
with the
seven,
kickoff. Yeah.
7-zip them, but obviously pulled through. So bringing that up, like your freshman year, and I know you still feel a little bit more the sophomore year, but didn't get like a ton of playing time, right? And you come in as like a top 100 player, consistent force, just like a really good player.
Yeah.
Was it ever hard on you, like not getting in the rotation and maybe as often as you thought you were going to get in?
A little bit this past year, my sophomore year, not really my freshman year because I knew I was redshirted, so I didn't really expect to play. But I was my sophomore year a little bit, just a redshirt freshman year, just because I was in the defensive meetings every week. I was practicing with the defense. But I still had guys in front of me. I still had a lot to learn. Those guys definitely last year were certainly better than me. I wished I could have had some more opportunities to play. But I got some solid reps. But I had like a lot of bad habits and stuff I needed to work on that I wasn't really aware of until like just this past offseason or this offseason. So yeah, I mean, I wish I could have, but it never really burdened me.
Well, the hard thing I also feel like is in high school, like you're this top guy. Like let's be honest, you didn't need to rely on like the little things to do well. You're huge, right? So like I feel that's so just for any player. Like if you're playing Division I college football anywhere or basketball, whatever sport, you just go. You're gonna play well without like needing to know like the ins and the outs of it, right? Like so that makes sense. I mean, obviously like Clemson has your culture and not like saying like, oh, you're gonna do this or whatever. But like I'm this day and age, right, with a transfer portal, it's absurd. Like you look at Colorado. I don't know if you're reading about it. They have like 50 kids in the portal, which
I saw that.
I don't know like what's going on there. But my question is just like with Clemson, I feel like the portal, like players leaving, it never happens. Like it rarely happens when players leave the port or leave Clemson. So, I mean, like, what do you think makes Clemson so like good? Like, why are you and players like always want to be here? You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
I would say probably because of the resources. Like, I mean, you're not going to get what we have at any other program. So, like, if you leave, like, you can go and leave and get playing time. And, like, it all depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, you want to go get playing time, like, that's you go. If that's what you want. If you want a shot at the NFL and you're not getting it here, then, like, it's a business decision. You go play somewhere else, But, like, a lot of guys stay, I think, just because if they don't really, like, if they're not, like, 100%, like, I want to go to the NFL. Then, like, we have so many resources here that they don't get anywhere else. Like, for instance, our bistro, like the food that we get. Like, we have our own cafeteria. Like, most college football programs have that, but, like, not to the level that we do. Like, our Paul Journey program, like, all the internships that we do and, like, preparing life after football, like, nobody else is doing that kind of stuff. So you're not going to get any of that anywhere else. So I think a lot of the guys stay just literally because of the resources that we have.
And I mean, obviously you know more than me, but I also feel like with Clemson, like, there's going to be so much talent. Like, once you get your time, though, it's going to be the right time. So, like, once you, I guess, in a sense, pay your dues, right, it's going to pay off because you're learning from, I mean, like, outside looking in, like, it seems like the best coaches. You're playing with the best players. So when it is your time to go, like, you're locked in, right? Like, you're going to do well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good point, too, because, like, that's the same thing with me. Like, that's the same thing. Like, Cornell Powell. Cornell Powell was here for 4 years. He had a couple rough patches, but like he stayed. Yeah. And his 5th year balled out and gets drafted. KJ Henry. When KJ came in, it was Christian, Dex, Cleveland, Austin, all them were here. So he had to really grow and develop and wait for them to go to get his like real opportunity to like to be the guy. and I had to wait a couple years. I think that's the same case with a lot of guys. It's a development process.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the coaches, like, they don't even convince guys to stay, but I think guys just stay because they know, like, you got to sit and you got to wait.
Yeah.
You'll get your opportunity and be ready to play.
I mean, and like you mentioned, it pays off. Like, Cornell got drafted. KJ is going to be drafted, relatively high. Like, it does always pay off in the end. So, yeah, I mean, go through tough times to get that reward. So, right now during this offseason, you mentioned it, there's a few things you want to work on. Your junior year, though, a lot of players leaving from that D line, Miles Murphy. I know you're not a defensive tackle, but Breezy, like other KJ. What are you trying to work on during this offseason to allow you to, like, get in that rotation and start playing a little bit more?
Yeah. Footwork would be number one. I don't have, like, terrible footwork, but, like, there's definitely things I need to improve in my footwork. Like, my first step, my footwork on pass rush, like, not stepping under myself. So, like, make sure, like, my first step is, like, ahead instead of, like, stepping under. So footwork, hand placement on run block and run game, just making sure I get it right in the middle of their chest so I can hold blocks. Shedding blocks, pass rush as a whole, just like, perfecting, like, my moves and, like, making them more precise. Those are probably, like, the top things. And then, like, obviously getting stronger in the upper body, building upper body strength, and then speed.
Okay.
So, yeah, doing speed drills.
So is that, like, are those things you just focus on, like, day in and day out and just improving upon?
Yeah. So, like, obviously the strength part comes because we're lifting right now. So we're going Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So lifting every day, and then we do speed work as well every day during strength and conditioning. So we do all that during the week, and then, like, I'll work on my flexibility and my recovery. So doing a lot of stretching, doing a lot of physical therapy on stuff that needs to be improved, like I'm on muscle deficiencies. Yeah. And then I'll go out usually on Saturday mornings and I'll do position specific work with our one of our strength coaches. So that'll be all defensive end stuff and all defensive line stuff. So hand drills, footwork drills, getting faster, and just in that. Like, we work on speed just as a whole, like just linear speed and stuff like that during the week. But on Saturdays, I work on agility and, like, D-line specific drills. So, like, Monday through Saturday, by the time it gets to the end of the week, I've kind of hit, like, all the areas that I need to improve on. So,
yeah, I remember you mentioned freshman year, like, you were a scout team. Now, obviously, you're not scout team. Do you think getting more, like, just reps throughout practice and throughout the seasons has helped you just grow as a player?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. Like, that's how I, like, get better and learn the best is getting reps. Like, just going through it and doing it. I improved the most this spring because of all the reps that I got. I had, like, a very slow improvement this past season. Like, I was with the defense every day, but it was, like, a real slow improvement, like, on little things. Like, every week it would be, like, one small thing I'd get better at. But I got so many reps this spring, I was able to really, really hone in on the things I needed to get better at. So,
I mean, I feel like that helps because it's like once you actually, like, apply what you're doing, you can learn from a lot easier. Yeah. But so I guess entering the season, like, what are your like personal goals to be able to accomplish?
I wrote down 3 goals the other day actually, or I'd say, like, I'll give you, like, kind of the season and then, like, holistically. Yeah. First goal is to be a starter. And then I obviously want to win a national championship in terms of, like, the team goals. But be a starter. I would say I want to be a consistent starter. So, like, not just start one game. I want to be a consistent starter. And then I want to leave here as an All-American and have the Clemson and NCAA sack record, single season and career. Yeah. So those are, like, kind of like my big goals. But yeah,
those are some good goals too. I mean, and that'd be the trifecta right there.
Yeah, it would be.
So yeah, you mentioned it, like the national championship. Obviously, is, like, something that every player grows up wanting to accomplish. Like, as a team right now, like, is that the mindset? It's like, you want to be there. You want to, like, compete in that.
Yeah, we just talked about that. We had a team meeting the other day with the whole staff and the team. And then we finished up and the staff walked out and it was just players. And we had a little players only meeting. And I think we're really, like, honed in on the everyday aspect of how we're going to get to win a national championship. Like, it's fine to have that goal, but, like, what are we doing as a team every day to prepare ourselves to be in that position? Because, we go throughout the whole season, we win the ACC championship, you know, and then you get into the playoffs, you're playing with some big teams. Like, that's a whole nother level. And some of these older guys that have played in those positions, like XT stood up the other day and talked to us, and it's just like, you know, when you get to those games, like, it's a real small margin of error. So, like, you got to really, really be ready for that. And so we're really, like, every day, I think everybody has the mindset of, like, we need to train to prepare ourselves for that moment, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. It is easy to say, like, oh, let's win a national championship or do this. I mean, everyone can say it, but you're right. Like, some of those, like, little goals each and every day to hit,
right.
like, that probably helps you the most, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, something I was reading about, you mentioned it, like you said, you were working on, like, your deficiency area, whatever the case may be. How advanced is, like, Clemson's nutrition, like, technology and all that? Like, it was 100 yards of wellness. Is that what it's called?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's the best in the country. I've seen a lot of other people's, but this is definitely by far the best. The nutrition is, you know, is crazy. We get 3 meals a day, like cook for us, buffet, everything, like a full kitchen. You have like a head chef and then a bunch of cooks and then like a nutritionist, and like all of them work together to put our food together. We have like a big old snack station, like Uncrustables, like, you know, protein shakes, yogurt, like chips, you know, granola bars, whatever you want. So that has been a big improvement for a lot of guys this off season, because we got a new nutritionist in January, Megan, and she's done a great job. She had everybody on the team like sit down with her individually and like gave us like nutrition counseling, and it's really just like pushing, like, you know, she makes nutrition fun. So like a lot of guys don't like to eat. So like she's like, all right, you know, have a little something to eat and then like drink a protein shake and like a naked juice, and like she's like, that'll suffice for like this meal.
Yeah.
So she just makes it really easy and accessible for us to like have a good nutritional diet, and like make sure she doesn't even say it doesn't even have to be strict, you know, but she puts together a great plan for us. And like that, and the weight room guys, strength and conditioning, and then the 100 yards of wellness, they all work together. They're like in sync like every day with what they do. But yeah, the 100 yards of wellness we finished that up last summer. The training room is insane. I always love what the training staff guys say, Pat and all them. It's the training room's like a place to go hang out.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like, I don't want to go to the training room because it's like, you know, that's the only reason you go there is if you're hurt.
Yeah.
But like, you know, we go and everybody goes through there and works on their muscle deficiencies of like basically just preventing injury and strengthening stuff so we don't get injured. So everybody's going in there and doing that. And, you know, obviously you got the guys doing their therapy and guys that are recovering from injuries. But it's just a place to hang out and have fun and chat it up. You know, and then the other side of it is our recovery. And that's probably the most advanced thing that we have. That's what everybody sees. You know, we got our massage chairs and like our
water floating thing,
yeah, we got our float tanks, and we got like there's a massage chair, and then there's like a massage bed, but like it pushes water, so like water is like going up and down massaging your body. It's called a hydro massage. And then we got our float tank and like our dry float, so like basically floating in water but not getting wet. And then you got like your cryotherapy, your massages with the gun massages, your stretches, and then our cocoons, so like all of our red light therapy. So like just helping with tissue repair and all kinds of stuff. So there's you could spend like a good 4 hours in there and not actually do everything that's in the recovery. Like it would probably take you 4 or 5 hours to finish everything.
That's insane. Well, the cool thing right now, at least from what I'm hearing, is it feels like obviously nutrition and recovery and all that, like you need it. Yeah. But it sounds like they're making it like enjoyable, right? Like you said, nutrition, like, I mean, I'm in college, we're all in college. It's like, it's easy to go and just like slack off or just say like, I'm gonna get pizza one night. But when they like make it, you know, somewhat like, hey, like this is eat this and eat that, so accessible, it makes it like you want to do it, right? Yeah,
it makes it so much easier because like we eat all the time, and like a lot of the guys that like have to maintain or have to gain weight like just don't like to eat at all. Like I don't personally like to eat that often. Well, I love to eat and I love food, but I don't like eating that often, and I certainly don't like to eat some of the stuff that I have to. But yeah, like I said, like she makes it fun, and like she gives us so many different options, like to be able to like enjoy eating. So
yeah, I know. I mean, nutrition is just hard as itself. Like it's just like it's a hard thing to keep up with, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and again, like it's so easy to say like, oh, come on, we got Chick-fil-A. Like, I mean, it's easy to say like, I want to eat something else.
Yeah.
So definitely. A few more questions before we kind of wrap it up. The first one being obviously the NFL draft and everything happening. Have to bring it up. You played alongside, especially the D linemen. Miles Murphy, Brian Breezy. What is Miles? What is Miles like? Just being around. He's a D end, your position. So what is he like, as a player and as a person?
Miles is a great guy. He's a great teammate, team guy. He's a beast of a man. First of all, dude is like 6'6", probably weighs like 270, but he runs like a deer. Speed and power guy on his pass rush. He's quiet, so he doesn't really talk a lot. Like when he does, it's important what he has to say. But yeah, he's really fun to be around. He's helped me with a lot in my game. There's been every once in a while I'll go to him for something I need or for help with something. And he's always got great advice for me from what has helped him throughout his career. I love Miles. I played with him for 2 years, so yeah, he was great. Yeah,
and you mentioned, so bringing it up, he's a little quiet. You're more of a leader role, right? I mean, in high school, I read that you're the guy to be talking. Do you embrace that role now, or?
Yeah. I've always kind of been. I always work on my vocal leadership because I've always been a lead by actions guy, but as I've gotten older, I've kind of worked on being more of a vocal leader, and I kind of like to talk more. I like to express myself a little bit more as I've gotten older. Miles is more of a lead by actions guy, but I kind of do a little bit of both. But yeah, I would say Miles is definitely a little more quieter.
Yeah. Well, it's important to have the lead by action and the vocal person too.
Right.
And then obviously the other two defensive stars, just Trenton and Breezy. I mean, being around those guys, what are they like?
Yeah, they're just professionals, man. From the moment I got here, they're just professional in the way that they carry themselves and what they do day in and day out. Trenton, the one thing I'd say about Trenton is his diet. Dude's diet is insane. We would be at breakfast and he would have a whole entire container of fruit. He'd have 2 or 3 bananas and some eggs, and that would be his breakfast, and just like that and a protein shake. And he's just absolutely shredded. Runs like a deer too. Trenton's a little bit quieter. He kind of just bounces around. He just is does his own thing. Crazy diet, just crazy good athlete. And then Brian's a jokester. Brian loves to have a good time, loves to talk, loves to cut up with the guys at lunch and while we're eating. Same thing with him. He taught me a lot about how to watch film. Brian gave me a lot of good perspective on just embracing the opportunity and what it's like playing in college. And he's kind of a go-getter. And he kind of taught me some of that too. But yeah, I would just say both of them are just been professionals ever since I got here.
So I mean, they're only a year older than you, or from a grade standpoint. And there's also guys that are younger, guys that are in your recruiting class. Do you think being around all these different types of people that take, Trent, you said takes nutrition pretty seriously. Brian's just he shows you how to do film, but he's hey, you can also relax and joke around. And Murphy, he helps you show pointers, and I'm sure there's 88 guys on the team. I'm sure all of them show you one different thing. Do you think it just helps you overall just become a better, not only football, but just a better person?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many good influences, coaches and guys on the team, and you get a little bit from everybody, like you said. I mean, everybody's different. So yeah, it's great. Just hang around the guys. I love to eat. That's my favorite thing to do is eating with guys. Just sitting, eating breakfast after a workout, eating lunch, whatever. Just cutting up with the guys, having conversation. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And if you're really if you're listening and picking up on what guys are saying and having good conversation, you'll learn a ton.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, I think every person would say this, and again, now it's talking to an athlete specific right now. Everyone they love just spending time with the guys, just eating, chilling. I was talking to RJ Godfrey, he's on the basketball team, and I was just asked him something what's your best memory, blah blah blah, and he's just chilling with the dudes. It's after a win, just flying home, hanging out. So yeah, I mean that's good though, right? It shows that team chemistry right there. So Cade, I have a little rapid fire, and then we'll kind of finish it up. But just first question being do you have a player that you try to role model your game after?
Yeah, JJ Watt.
JJ Watt.
He's more of he's a little bit bigger than me, or a lot bigger than me, but he plays more inside. But it used to be JJ Watt. I used to watch his tape 24/7. Who's the other defensive end? I don't know. Probably him and Aaron Donald, honestly.
Okay. You're gonna like get a bloody nose, like a broken nose one day, and just start getting like 20 sacks.
I had actually had a broken chin, or not a broken chin, but I had a. My senior year, I had something wrong with my chin, so I actually thought about that when that happened. Cause like I used to have a screensaver on my phone of that picture of him with his nose.
Like, he's actually insane. Yeah. Like him, and obviously this is a throwback, but like LT, like Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Like,
I love watching his tape too.
He's a dog. Like he's actually. I remember there's like one game he got like 3 sacks with like a broken arm or like a broken ribs or something. He just went.
LT was on something.
Yeah, no, I'm a Giants fan, so I've always he's a man. I'm all for it.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Do you just have like a favorite player? Is it JJ Watt? Is he your favorite player?
Let me see. I'm trying to see. Defense definitely. Yeah, I would probably say any D lineman. JJ Watt, Aaron Donald, Von Miller. I really like him. A guy named Jason Taylor. He played for the Dolphins back in the day. Him. Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of my list.
So you mentioned Clemson is a movie night. You know, I watch a movie every Friday night. Like, do you have like a favorite movie?
Wow. Yeah, that's. I love movies actually.
Yeah, you're a movie guy?
Oh, I love movies. I watch them all the time. Me and my roommates watch movies a couple times a week. We watched Batman Begins last night. Batman Dark Knight Rises is one of my favorites of all time.
Okay.
The Ocean's trilogy is one of my favorite series. And then what's another one? Inception, and there's another one with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's similar to Inception. But yeah, Inception, the Ocean's trilogy, and Batman: The Dark Knight Rises.
So like, do you like just a variety of movies, or do you have like action? Is that your thing, or thriller?
Oh, I like them all, but I love movies with like a good storyline. So like, Inception is like kind of like plays with your mind a little bit, and you like I like to watch movies that you like have to like really pay attention to. Okay, like you're invested. Oh, yeah. Like but I love all genres. Like I love comedy. I like chick flicks. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, my only stipulation with like movie shows, like I can't stand cartoons.
Yeah, I don't. If it's a movie cartoon, like unless it's we watched Super Mario Brothers the other day.
Oh, I've been meaning to watch that. I heard that thing was like so goofy.
Yeah.
No, I like. I don't know. I don't even know. I like Bad Boys. That's a good one.
Yeah, Bad Boys. I watched that recently.
As like bad the movies have been, like I love Fast and Furious.
Yeah, that's a great one.
The second one was like my favorite. Like I like the older ones. Those are like definitely my best. And then I'm trying to think. A movie I watched the other day. It's on like Paramount Plus. It's called like Aviator or something.
Oh, yeah, I think we watched. It
was good, but it was like bad ending.
Is that the one with the like based like back in the day, like with older planes?
Yeah.
I think we watched that as a team last year.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah,
it was good. And then like, what's like a hobby of yours aside from just playing sports and football? Golf? Yeah,
I love golf. I like to golf and I like to bass fish and play poker.
Oh, a little trifecta.
Yeah.
When did you get into golfing? Is that like
quarantine?
Okay.
I played with my dad. I've always played with my dad since I was younger. I used to hate it. Whenever he'd ask me to play, I was like, this sucks. But I started playing during quarantine with my buddies because we had nothing else to do. But I love it now. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm competitive, and so it's like a competition with yourself. So yeah, I play that as much as I can.
Yeah, and it was funny you bring that up because like growing up, high school, I never played. Like I hated it. Then I come to college and it's like, yo, like you want to play golf?
Everybody plays it,
and I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, can we just play basketball? Like, I'm not good at this whole thing, but
it's almost like if you don't play golf, it's like you're kind of like an outsider.
Yeah,
like
literally
nowadays,
it's like it's fun, but
yeah,
I hate it though because it's just like up to you. Like if you do bad, like you're done. Like with like you know, I played basketball in high school. It's like if I were to have a turnover, I could just play better defense. Or like if you, I don't know, like in football, like if you're a quarterback throwing an interception, then just throw a touchdown.
Yeah.
But golf, you make like one bad swing and it's like game over.
It's a mental challenge. Yeah. There's been days where I've wanted to throw my clubs, sell my clubs, and then other days, I feel like I'm Tiger Woods.
Are you scratch?
No, I'm not even close to that. I shoot like mid-90s probably.
Okay. Yeah, so you can play.
Yeah, I can play a little bit.
Yeah. What's your favorite like meal? Go-to meal? I guess cheat meal. I should say.
Let's see. My favorite whole like a meal. I'm a snack guy.
Okay.
I love snacks. I would say, okay, so I like to eat cereal. So like if I'm gonna eat like a cheat snack, it would be cereal. Okay. So like Fruity Pebbles or Captain Crunch are two of my favorites.
Yeah.
So I'll just get a big old bowl and eat that like at night. But meal, I don't know. Pizza. I like pizza.
Okay.
Or fast food. Any fast food really is a cheat meal.
Yeah. I don't.
Oh, Five Guys.
Five Guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Five Guys is terrible for you, but that's a good cheat meal.
Five Guys is good. I do like Five Guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get food, I always go Chipotle. Like I know it's like not cheap.
I'll eat Chipotle. Like Chipotle is good for anybody, so I eat that. Like that's like a good meal.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't count. Like, better than Moe's. Though. I cannot stand Moe's. That place.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I used to go to. I had like a Chipotle kick. I would be going there for like a month straight. And then I started going back to Moe's, and now I go there all the time.
I will say this:
it depends though. It depends on the week.
The Chipotle in Clemson is off. Like it's
the Moe's sucks too. They're both bad.
Chipotle is terrible. Though.
But it's like
they don't have white rice. And I'm like, dude, like it's
Chipotle. Yeah, Moe's is terrible too.
Yeah,
Moe's is worse.
Yeah,
but sometimes I just like I get their stacks. So
okay. You don't do like a bowl or anything.
No, the stack is good.
Okay, and then. Final few questions. Do you have like a hidden talent? There's like something that's just like different that you can do?
No, I wouldn't say nothing's like hidden talent, but I like to tell myself that I can sing.
Oh, you can sing?
I like to say that. I think if I took voice lessons one day, I think I would be able to like do a concert.
You trying to like spit some bars right now? Like sing right now?
No, not right now. But I think I could though.
What's your like genre? Like, would it be country or is it?
Yeah, it would. But I listen to everything, but my go-to is country.
Okay, and that's what you like to sing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you like? Can you freestyle?
No, I wish.
Tried?
I can't. Yeah. I'm better singing when there's like a song on, so I can sing along.
Yeah.
But I really haven't figured out if I can sing by myself.
Yeah.
But if I'm singing along with somebody, I sound really good.
Dude, freestyling is like I never did it, but like my roommates love it, and it's like I'm sure you've been around.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I feel like an idiot. Like I don't even know what I'm saying half the time.
Like freestyle rap?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
It's terrible.
I can't.
It's like a disaster.
I couldn't do it. Whatever. If I freestyle rap, whatever I'm rapping about would be really weird.
The weirdest things are like the best things to rap about or freestyle about. My final question for you is, if there was like one thing that you wanted somebody to know about you, not like I'm a really good football player, but like one thing just about who you are, like what would you want that to be?
I'd probably say that I'm a well-rounded man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not just a football player. You know, I'm a Christian, believe in God, faith. You know, I have all these different hobbies. You know, but it's not just football. So I'd probably say well-rounded man.
Yeah, definitely, and soon to be in the Secret Service. I was reading you have interest in that.
Yeah, I do.
Marshall.
Where did you find that at?
Something from Frick's, some article.
Oh.
I can probably find it.
Yeah, I don't know where. I'm trying to remember who I told that to, or if. But yeah, I do actually. It's funny you say that because I had to write a reflection paper about that today. That's what I want my career to be, and I was like, Secret Service was one of the options.
That's like a crazy, crazy. I know you're criminal justice, but that's a crazy switch up. Like Secret Service, like that's.
Well, it applies. Like it's.
No, yeah, I know it applies. Yeah. Secret Service, like that's nuts.
Yeah, Homeland Security, FBI, or the Marshal Service.
Would you rather be like Secret Service, like you're protecting, right? Like the president or something.
Yeah.
Would you like that more than like investigative work? Like, would you?
I would do either. Investigative work, I think would be sick too. Yeah. Like the Marshal Service, like it's like tracking down fugitives.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a bounty hunter. Mm-hmm. And then like Homeland Security and like FBI is like investigative work and stuff. And then like Secret Service. Like Secret Service is like a big umbrella. So like I'm pretty sure Homeland Security and FBI like are under it. Mm-hmm. But like the real like Secret Service that people think of is like protecting the president and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd do any of them.
Yeah.
I think they're sick.
Yeah, no, it seems cool. I mean, obviously, I don't like watch like Secret Service documentaries, but I saw like a show on Netflix. It was called like Night Agent. And it's about like Secret Service.
A lot of people have been watching that.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I haven't watched it yet, but I need to.
Yeah. You're a movie guy though.
I watch the show too, but yeah, movies are my favorite.
Tulsa King, great show. You should watch it if you have time.
Oh, is it good? I used to see previews for it, but I never got into it.
Yeah, no, dude, Sylvester Stallone is like a dog. He's 75 and he's like he's a dog.
He's still killing it.
He's a man. Well, Cade, I really appreciate this conversation, taking your time today to do this. You know, any final thoughts you want to say, or anything about the season, or just anything at all?
Nah, just everybody root for us.
Yeah,
we're coming from the Natty.
Yeah, go Tigers, national
Go
champions,
Tigers.
right? Come on. Okay, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thanks for having me.